people from everywhere, right? And then a lot of those individuals got in trouble with their kids, and then they changed their life around, and they're actually minor crime, but it was felony at the time, which now it's a misdemeanor, and so we were able to open most of their cases. But some were slipped through the crack. They were so depressed, they were just so tired, they were so like, of going through the ICE process and like being detained and separated from their family, that they just gave up, right? But like it's just so tragic because like they changed their life. 30 years later, like they're deeply rooted in our community. They're paying the taxes, they're doing everything they possibly can do as a family member, right? And something like, or the sole provider of the family. So you put them in detention for all these months and months, and then they lose their home, they lose their, it's traumatizing, right? And now they're deported, which add more burden and strain in the relationship with the family, right? So like it's so crazy, and I feel like that's like the story. Like this is your community, Like you don't love your own community, and you start to separate yourself because they made a mistake with their kids, and the idea of like forgiveness, the idea of redemption is no longer in the brain, right? I feel like.
Were they connected to the larger community when it happened, or just made up something alone?
No, they came and got them out their house at their work and stuff. They just came and did a raid and picked them up. So most of them didn't even know that they were so if you order remove, in the first few months you think in your mind, okay, any day I can get deported. So my life is in limbo, it's in pause right now. So whatever I do daily, I try to appreciate whatever I have at the moment, but also in the back of my mind, I know that I could lose at any time. So there's no like, you're hesitant to own anything, get involved in a relationship, nothing, right? Like, because you don't know what's gonna happen. And then you wait a few years later, and you're checking in all the time, and you're not being detained, but other people are getting deported or getting detained, right? And so you think, okay, this stuff is over for me right now. They're not looking at me, my life, my time is minor, so I can move forward. And so I don't thought that way. They move forward. And so they started having a life, raising a family. They started like opening a business. Actually, you notice like out of nowhere, they get picked up. They're like, what? Wait, I thought my punishment is over, And then like immigration law has changed over time too. Like so, the Timothy Day bombing revolutionized the way immigration looks like. They implement the Anti-Terrorist Act. So, and they're talking a lot about immigrants, people, and then the 9/11 happened, and made it worse. It's like not just like
internal enemy.
Right. And so like before, like people has permanent residency status. That changes now. Like now you can lose your green card after conviction, especially after the '96 law. Right. And so it's horrible.
When you were in detention, did you encounter people who were there simply because of juvenile offenses?
They're wide range of like reasons. Like some people with DUI, multiple DUI, some people has domestic violence, some people have drug addiction. I actually was in a pod while people was detoxing from drugs. And I'm like, why aren't you in the hospital? But they're like detoxing. He's throwing them on old people. And I was a representative, so I was fortunate because I was in the pod. I was able to like make bond with the guys in there. They trust me, and so they made me what's called a house agent, which is a person who represent like deal with conflict and try to keep the peace. So I would like talk to people, like try to convince them, hey, this person is sick. Like don't take offense, because he's sick. No one's gonna care for him. Like obviously the guards or ICE didn't care, they just couldn't be there. And the worst thing we could do is like make it worse for each other. And so like he was throwing up on people, like people was upset, like they were sleeping there. Like he's detoxing, he was right? He's beyond his control. And so yeah, I seen that whole thing. It's heartbreaking. But apparently, like that's a strategy that ICE used to deter you from like so they put you in like the worst condition possible. If you're struggling, just like deal with fighting, it's hard mentally. You're not gonna want to fight. You just want to get deported. Like most people sign deportation because that's.
I know the break is going to be over soon. Do you want to report about the Feinstein meeting?
So, what was great about the Feinstein meeting was that Kai, the one who was just detained was actually there. So him and his wife Catherine were able to share his story with staff director.
He's a state director.
State director.
Oh, good.
Wasn't
Not the
as
other guy.
familiar with the details of immigration, but was very open and actually met with us for about 90 minutes. So there was some opportunity to continue to follow up with their office as well, with Hi's case and anyone else's. And I think that's what Nia is doing with Asian Law Office. We also let them know about our trip next week to Honduras, and that we want to be meeting with their office again. Most likely there'll be more legislation on the Burton Pasadena bill that will be reintroduced. So we're going to be following up with their office on that as well. So I think it's just we were seeing it as a first meeting that we're going to continue to follow up the building. With Harris's office, it was some of their staff that do work on immigration, so I think they had more familiarity. So we want to continue to go back to those offices. We're still asking to meet with the senators themselves.
I think we just gotta keep reminding them we're here and you made a commitment. We're your constituent, we're your people. Like you have to like remember. So I think if we just like keep reminding them enough, they're like okay, we have to.
Especially if she's
And I think that the next goal is to try to get the in-person meeting with the senators because we had to go through this. We had to meet with their staff first because they're not going to want to meet the one behind it all. But now we did that, and now we're like, okay, you know, and
We're not going away. We're here.
so I think that's really important.
And I also want to just add to so people who are detained like this, right here, us coming together and like making noise, advocating on people's behalf, and that's inspiring. We keep inspired by us. So like that is valuable. This is coming from someone like who's there.
I agree with this. Yes.
Not to give up. There's people out there fighting about you.
I mean, one of the things that Hi's wife, Catherine, said, she goes, you know, we knew this day was coming because of that 1996 law that eventually ICE was going to come or we're going to have to, you know, get deported or detained. They said the difference was, she said, last year we realized we could fight it, but we just were going to accept it. We didn't know. But then when they heard about PJ's case and they heard about, you know, other people's cases, and there is a way to win and to fight where people just thought that's the law, we're going to have to be deported.
Asking if those people who were deported knew that there was.
We ended up educating a lot of folks about it, and so in the last wave we were able to like overturn a lot of it because people was really opening the cases. And then I mean the hard part is just like this is decades of like hopelessness, right? Decade of hopelessness. People believe it already. They're like, I'm not gonna fight them. Who am I? I'm not gonna win this. Like ICE is rigged, you know? And you're isolated. You're alone. You don't know about the law and the policy. So and you don't see any hope that anyone else have done it before you. So it's easy to give up. But like now, like people are coming back. Like we have 2 people came back from Cambodia. Like that was amazing. Like thanks to Nazi justice.
To fight it?
That's history.
Yeah.
Like Asian Law Caucus made history in that. Like they actually got people back in Cambodia, and people are watching and say, "Oh wait, that's possible." You know, so like those are like stories and motivation. It's inspiring.
And one woman, I remember when he said, turn to your neighbors, I turned to the neighbor and talked, and she said, oh, my husband was deported 4 years ago, and he has a lifetime ban. He's never allowed to Cambodia. And so she's like, I used to try to go and visit him twice a year, but it's so expensive. And so now I can only go once a year to try to visit him. And she's like, you know, eventually, unless he can come back some way, you know, I'm gonna, when I retire, maybe we can live together in Cambodia. But right now I'm working. And I was like, well, how long are you gonna retire? She said, well, I got 20 more years.
And once they have that lifetime ban, is it possible to overturn? Everything's
I mean, a pardon would overturn it. Yeah, a pardon would. What a pardon would do is it would vacate the very conviction, felony that made them deportable. And so, especially if they're like most Southeast Asian communities have came to this country during the war under refugee status, and so we have a green card, and if we can get those green cards back, you know, like that's unite them. And then like also like 6 years of living a productive life as a citizen. Yeah,
But
it's possible I don't. At this point, I don't believe in giving up.
But I thought the green card is taken once they're detained, right? I thought the green card is taken when they're detained, right?
They take the green card when they detain you, correct?
Okay.
When you commit a felony,
You can appeal it.
they automatically make you deportable,
Okay.
and ICE automatically takes your green card.
And how would you claim it back?
You will, if you will get the pardon, if you get a pardon,
That's the only way?
yeah, you could petition for you get your green card. Well, you can petition to reopen your case, right? And immigration, and then you can like.
So
That's what Eddie Zhang did, right?
So the governor tried to give me a pardon, and then the court stopped it without giving the reason.
California Supreme Court.
They literally just and they told us they're not gonna do that. You know, like and they did it. They're like, wait, why did you do that? And none of us. And they didn't release any reason why they did it. So we don't really know why at this moment like that happened.
So then what's next?
We're trying to get Gavin Newsom, the new governor, to resubmit the application back to Supreme Court for reconsideration.
So I'm from Cambodian School of San Francisco, and I'm trying to share the information to the community. So can you tell us what you represent and you know
People can support.
yeah support? I mean, what company sounds like you're from an organization?
So I work with the Asian Prisoners Support Committee.
Okay. And your name?
Asian. My name is PJ,
Okay.
and I am one of the community advocates.
Are you Cambodian?
I am Cambodian.
Okay.
I am Cambodian.
All right.
And I've been through the whole ICE system, the justice system, justice system, because I got in trouble when I was younger.
Okay.
And so I've been order removed. My case is still fighting in the Ninth Circuit, and I try to pursue a pardon. But like a lot of the advocacy work, support, like people can learn about it by going onto Facebook or going on a website, looking up Asian Law Caucus, right? And also look in CRAC, which is an organization based, back in the East Coast. But they can go to APSC, which is Asian Prisoner Support Committee, and then like, and the website will like link you to every other organization and learn more about it. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, on Facebook.
So they get connected through that.
Get connected through that, get information, you know what I mean, about rallies like this.
Rallies.
Right, and they also can contact
Yeah,
Deborah.
this is I'm Reverend Deborah Lee with the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity.
Okay.
We're made up of congregations, a network of faith communities, different faith communities from across California, working on immigration justice and ending mass criminalization. So these are members of some of the different congregations here in the Bay Area who've been very active at showing up at actions like today, at rallies, at vigils, and supporting cases like PJ, writing postcards, many cases. So from different communities.
So how do we get a hold of you?
You could go to the website at IamForHumanIntegrity.org.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we should let our community know? The one
I think that right now, like for the case today, I and Tiff, you know, if people want to write letters of encouragement to people, they could send them to, you know, you can make a generic letter already, like, you know, we care about you, we support you, and they'll make sure that they can get it to the people who really need a message of hope and encouragement. So that's something that the Cambodian school or the temple might want to do, you know, to write some letters to encourage people.
And we would love to collaborate, work with our community and find solutions and how we can support the community, both through, you know, policy and also support, right? The family who is going through this. We would love to do that. Anyone who like willing to reach out to us and work with us. And like the community can take action right now and just like we're doing a bunch of campaigns on pardons of Cambodian community members who were affected by ICE. They could call Governor Brown, they could tweet Governor Brown, they could email Governor Newsom. Sorry, Governor Newsom, like contact Newsom's office and actually you know, say the support.
So how do we get the message across to the community? Because there's a mixture of support. Put it that way.
Well, this at the end of the day, this is our own people. If we can't support our own people, like what does that mean, right? So I feel like at this point, I think. No, there's a story like you think it doesn't affect everyone, it doesn't affect you because you're not in that boat. until it's your own kids. And in actuality, you look around and that's your neighbor's kid. That's like that's your own community. I feel like that is important. I think that's what people should. Okay.
For me, that these individuals have served their term. They become productive citizens. They become fathers, parents, and supporters to the community, to the family. So there's no reason why they cannot live just like anybody. Because if you're a citizen, you've been served your term, you become normal people, regular productive citizens.
It's an unjust punishment.
Yeah,
because we are supposed to be about, this is, they serve their time. We're supposed to be about forgiveness. And not having this, be on people, or wait on people for the rest of their lives. We're not giving them another life.
I feel like discrimination right there.
It is. Divide and conquer. One more request. Many of the congregations here are part of the sanctuary.
Okay.
And that's a movement of 1,000 congregations across the country. And we really would like to have Cambodian Buddhist temples be part of the sanctuary movement. And what that means is for the temple to say, we're part of this network that wants to provide protection because it's so unfair. Because these people are being discriminated against. They're being targeted. They're going to be deported. They're going to be lifetime separated from their family. And so I think that the Cambodian temple is such a symbol for the Khmer community of safety and acceptance. And if they would think about how to be part of the sanctuary movement with us, like together, we can be connected and support each other, of saying, no matter what, we stand with them and we're willing to provide shelter if they need it, provide temporary protection from the government if they're being unjustly targeted, because I think that would be such an important communication to the Khmer community, people who feel like they have nothing to do. In fact, some of them who are going in today were considering, should instead of reporting in, could we go into sanctuary and fight our case from a temple or a church instead of fighting it from detention, which is so difficult.
I thought San Francisco is a sanctuary. What happened?
Sanctuary in the sense that they don't cooperate with the state agency, the federal agency to detain you. For example, like if you're coming out of a county jail, they won't hold you for ICE, right? But it doesn't, most of these guys, the men and women who are affected now, who are in this building, has already been released from ICE custody and is going reporting in regularly, and so they don't detain them that way. But sanctuary doesn't mean you can't get detained. ICE can still operate.
ICE can still operate in San Francisco, but San Francisco will not use any resources to help ICE. So San Francisco, no staff, no police, no budget can help ICE, but it doesn't mean they can stop ICE from still having their building here, still having their officers work here. So they still go around and do their business.
Okay.
Yeah, and if the temple and people who are willing to help us bridge that gap with the temple, we could provide information on how to do sanctuary. If people would sort of know, I would really encourage folks to reach out, please.
So you can contact me and our organization because we work with congregations to help them think about sanctuary. There's 45 in Northern California who are, part of that.
What the consequence of that?
What's the consequence? No congregation. Sanctuary has been used since the 1980s in this country, and no congregation has ever been prosecuted. So there's never been any federal prosecution, and no one has actually served time for being part of sanctuary. So the government tries to discourage, of course, but this is where the faith communities say this is part of our belief and part of our faith. And so our strength and our power is in our numbers and by the connection of the 1,000 sanctuary congregations. So there has been no risk. I don't want to say there's no risk because of course people feel some risk. Because if you're supporting someone who's targeted by the government, you feel like, maybe the government will target me. But that's where we as the faith community are acting to, together and to take a bold stand. I don't know if you guys are a sanctuary congregation, if you want to share what does it mean for your congregation, why did you do that?
because it's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're willing to do what it takes, basically.
I mean, I think there's a history amongst Quakers of standing up to the government pretty much from the very beginning.
Oh, okay.
And so some Quaker meetings around the country have actually provided physical sanctuary. But I think it's just, I mean, I don't believe in borders, so why would I think it's okay for people to be deported?
Right.
It's just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is that the sanctuary congregations, if someone has to come in to take sanctuary in the congregation, we are not hiding people.
Oh, okay.
We're not hiding them from ICE. In fact, we're telling ICE someone has come into sanctuary here. And ICE, up until this point in history, has never gone into a place of worship
Oh, okay.
to remove somebody.
Oh,
They
okay.
have an unspoken practice to respect
All right, so we're gonna bring it
the
back.
houses of worship. So
That is new.
Yes.
That is new.
that's why we want to use that fact that we're a sacred house of worship and that ICE will not violate. It doesn't mean they won't, because sometimes they do bad
But they
things.
have not.
But we have not, and we we believe that we're a house.
This is the idea of
there is a
sanctuary go all the
formal-
way back into medieval
Sanctuary
times.
goes back many thousands of years.
Yes.
But there is a formal policy of not going into sensitive places such as places of worship, hospitals, all medical facilities, so that's a stated policy of the federal government. It doesn't make it a law, but it makes it a policy that ICE is supposed to follow. And so up until now, they have followed that federal policy.
Wow, that's
Can I just, the reason I handed you this is that this is the number to call today to ask the governor to interfere with this, what's happening. You know, so it's like for people to be able to call, and then this is the script.
Oh, okay. I will post that. Thank you.